to start by saying, Griffin, welcome to Going Deep with Aaron Watson.
Great. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to be talking with you, and just quite frankly, the technology that you guys are developing here at Rapid Flow is one that is very close to my heart. I am on probably the upper end of the spectrum of like, not road rage, but maybe traffic rage, if that makes sense. I'm sure that's relatable for a lot of the audience out there. But to start off, for folks that are unfamiliar, what is Rapid Flow Technologies, and how are you making the world a better place?
Yeah, so at Rapid Flow Technologies, we're trying to improve people's lives by reducing the negative effects of traffic congestion. And I always like to start with the problem first before we talk about what we do. But really, everybody can understand traffic congestion. You talked about it, just now. And it costs the U.S. alone $300 billion a year in direct and indirect cost, and we're only the fifth most congested country in the world. So this is a huge global problem. In addition, we focus on urban traffic management. By 2050, it's estimated that 70% of the global population is going to live in cities. That's 2.5 billion more people in cities, putting more demand on these transportation infrastructures. And finally, technology is just not keeping up. Cities are making really good investments in smart technology systems, smart city systems, but traffic signals really haven't changed since the 1920s. Adaptive technology has come out in traffic signal control in the 80s, but again, there really hasn't been a lot of innovation. So what we do is we're trying to take the newest cutting edge thinking in artificial intelligence and putting that to play in traffic control. So basically, we take artificial intelligence, put it at every intersection, and we can optimize traffic flows based on the actual traffic at the intersection, not historic patterns, not what someone might predict in the next 10 minutes, but what's actually going on. Let the machine make the control decisions.
And I sat in on a panel, I want to say it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and it was all about AI and transportation and how they'll play together. And I think there was someone from like Uber's self-driving car program. There was someone from this company, which at the time was called SureTrack or SureTrack. I'm not sure exactly what the correct pronunciation is. And I think that led to the rebrand.
Yeah.
But since sitting in on that panel, understanding what you guys were doing, the actual effectiveness, which is part of the essence of any sales pitch, is completely apparent. On campus, used to go to Pitt. It was very difficult to even just get through campus to the other side. And I've noticed that the ability to get through is sped up on some of these major drags. So talk a little bit about that point of rebranding, of you coming in to join the founding team as a CEO and help to move this business forward in the last few years.
Yeah. So before that, I'll talk about the first piece. Yeah, we're able to reduce the causes of traffic congestion by 20 to 40%. So you think about that $300 billion cost, we're directly impacting that. So what you're feeling anecdotally
Yeah.
or qualitatively, quantitatively is just driving huge savings for cities and for commuters and for businesses trying to move goods, and product, around a city. So yeah, it's hugely impactful. SureTrack is actually our product. So
Okay.
Rapid Flow Technologies is the company, and we're not super concerned about which brand sort of gains more traction. We're fine to sort of let that happen organically. But yeah, I was the first sort of business person hired here as the CEO. There are two founders that came out of CMU. Everybody here had a PhD except for me. So, but it's incredible what they've been able to do without a lot of business experience. These are smart guys who have just done a great job and gotten the word out. And I think the strength of the product and their reputation in this industry has really, driven the success that they've had so far. So they were able to go, quite a while, almost 3 years as a business, without, true business leadership and management.
I think that's a great note to wrap up on, Griffin. As we aim towards wrapping up and asking our standard last two questions, is there anything you're hoping to share today that I didn't give you a chance to?
No, I think we hit much of what I thought we'd talk about, and yeah, I really enjoyed the topic, and yeah, it's great.
Beautiful. I'm utterly predictable, apparently. No, just kidding. If people want to learn more about Rapid Flow and all the cool stuff that you guys are doing, what digital coordinates can we provide people who want to learn more?
Yeah, so if people want to reach out to me, the easiest way is just info@rapidflowtech.com. And then we haven't had a lot of marketing focus here, so we just relaunched our website, just relaunched, on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. You can pretty much always find us, Rapid Flow Tech, on any of those mediums. So, and that's the website, rapidflowtech.com.
Beautiful. We're going to link that in the show notes. goingdeepwithaaron.com/podcast is usually the best place to find it, or just scroll a little bit down the podcast app where you're listening to this right now. But as we do at the end of each conversation, Griffin, I want to give you the mic a final time to issue an actionable personal challenge for the audience.
Yeah, so I'd like to offer two if I could, because I listened to a few of your other podcasts. One was Kevin Miller, and he runs a company called Legal Sifter. We're colleagues from two businesses previously, and he talked about engaging with artificial intelligence. And he said, just go out and maybe read a book or an article. I've read two books recently that I think are helpful. One is an easy read. Everybody probably knows Dan Brown. He's wrote a lot of really good thrillers. There's a book called Origin. That talks about artificial intelligence, but it's very much, in a novel.
Like a science fiction type of novel?
Yeah, and it's a really easy read. It's a page turner, but it also gives you some insight into artificial intelligence and what it can be. And then for a slightly more technical, there's a book called Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of AI. I can't remember the author, but the first quarter of that book is really easy to understand if you're not steeped in AI. It gets more technical, but pick that up. That's the first quarter of that book is really wild and really paints a great vision.
Is there a takeaway, like maybe one kind of takeaway that you really walked away from that book from being like, that is a great model for understanding the world?
I don't know. I think my big takeaway is you hear, some folks on one side of the equation saying we should be worried about AI and it's going to take over all these things and it's scary. And then you have other people saying, oh, that, we don't have to worry about it. It's going to be a great enabler. So I think that this book helps you understand, both sides of that. I'm not going to take a position on that one, but I think that it's a good way for people to engage in that debate and topic and think about it. I think both of these books will just expose people to that field and thinking about those issues.
I love it. I love books in general, and challenging people to read books is a fantastic note to wrap up on. Griffin, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Yeah, thank you. This is great.
We just went deep with Griffin Schultz. Hope everyone out there has a fantastic day.
What was the original goal of the podcast, and has it sort of evolved over time?
Oh, it's totally evolved. That's a great question. I thought I was going to be Tim Ferriss in about 6 months, and I didn't know how to edit. I didn't really know how to interview well. I didn't know how to distribute content, and so I had to more or less teach myself all those things. And in the process, like what I thought would be exponential growth has been more linear growth of the show, but still linear. And then coming to value different things, not only, so in one area you have pattern matching, which is, so for example, I'm immensely more bullish and excited for you guys, given the fact that I understand that you've not done much fundraising, you hold your destiny in your hands. Like, I have a much deeper appreciation for why that's significant. Further, I have a much deeper appreciation for, so the Tim Ferriss model of having hundreds of thousands of listeners and then selling advertising against it is great for him, right. But there's countless other businesses that never interact with more than 500 people, and the owner lives a very, very good life. Yeah. And so with all of that coming together and this skill set that I've now acquired, not only in communications and distribution strategy and editing, and general, once again, fluency of like, most people don't understand how tremendously talented and valuable someone like TJ is because he's 17. Right. They discount him. Right. And yet he knows more about distributing content and culture than like 99% of people in the city. Yeah. And so even being able to appreciate someone like TJ brought me to this middle point of Piper, which is more or less bringing not like just the full service agency life, but a very specific view of like, there's certain things that we think you should be doing, we'll help you do them. And if you don't value those things, like we're not gonna try to sell into someone who like doesn't know what a podcast is. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not worth
Yeah.
the time of doing that. So that's how it's evolved. I thought I was going to be superstar influencer, and what I realized what I actually want to be is guide to the people doing really interesting stuff, and kind of bringing this complementary skill set to the table.
Like, I thought it was, I knew there were sensors that triggered lights and whatnot, but I didn't know there was actually like a whole AI behind it that can censor pedestrian scooters and whatnot to change the lights, and that's cool that they're adding that in.
Exactly. Hannah said that you're working on an episode for tonight.
Yeah.
Is that tonight?
Yep.
I don't know. So I'll give you this. I'll trade you.
Okay.
We're meeting downtown on Friday. Is that the next thing?
Friday.
Did I send you that invite or not?
Let me check it.
Yep. You. Dr. Gina at Industrious, PPG. Have you been to Industrious yet?
No PPG? No.
Okay, so basically, I usually find street parking, but there's also a garage, but street parking will probably be the easiest. And then we'll like meet down on the ground floor so that we can all go up together.
Okay.
But the lobby is just on like one side of the fountain because there's like 4 buildings around there.
Right.
It's on the like further side. I'll just call
Okay.
you or something when we get up there.
Alright.
Otherwise, you good?
Yep.
Questions?
All right.
Later, dude.
See ya. Nice day.
Fun fact, chartreuse is actually a lime green color when most people think it's magenta. Idiots.